Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Hasbro Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel Legends Infinite Series box set. This Entertainment Earth exclusive, in other words, the only way that you can get this set is through Entertainment Earth. This exclusive box set has all the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy that we've looked at, but as their comic book counterparts. If you remember, if you've had a look and we did the reviews together of the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel Legends standard figures, those were all based from movies. These ones, on the other hand, are actually based on their comic book counterpart, just in a larger Marvel Legends scale. It is recommended for ages 4 and up. It does have a choking hazard. Small parts not for children under 3 years of age. We take the box and we can spin around to the side, and there's some character breakdown of the characters there. And we spin around to the back. A full image of what the characters will look like. It says, led by the wandering outlaw Star-Lord, these interstellar heroes defend the universe. That is also carried over into a couple of other languages as well. This comes to us from also the folks over at Hasbro. And lastly, just before we open up the box, there is a Velcro on the inside. You can open it up and you see the characters, which we will be looking at when we get these opened up. But you also have the same artwork on the inside with Groot, Star-Lord, Drax, Rocket Raccoon, and of course, Gamora. And one last look, there is what the figures look like inside. Gamora comes with two different heads, and of course a slew of different weapons. Super excited to get this opened up. Spot's going to take a break. I'm going to get this opened, and when we come back, we're going to have a better look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Guardians of the Galaxy Entertainment Earth exclusive. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. With the box set opened up, let's have a look at the individual figures that make up this box set. First things first, let's have a look at Gamora, who sadly I just could not get to stand. None of these figures come with display stands, so unfortunately, at least Gamora-wise, I can't get her to stand on this backdrop. She does come with, well, you know what? Let's have a look at her accessories first. She comes with a sword. Nice silver-bladed sword, I should say, with a gold handle. And you can put it into her hand. Now, she only comes with one hand. Well, let me rephrase that. She comes with one hand that will allow her to hold a weapon. The other hand being a closed fist. Obviously, you will only be able to fit it into her one hand. Her hand is rubbery too, so you have to just pry the 4 fingers open, and then you can fit the sword into her hand. You know, like that. It doesn't look like she has a sheath or anything else that she can hold, house the sword. You could probably tuck it into her belt, but it's a little too big of a blade. And obviously, it's going to sit. Best bet is you probably would want to just have her holding it. As for her outfit, well, I guess, you know what, other accessory, let's talk about that too. Other accessory she has is an unhooded head. Currently you see she's sporting a head that's got a hood over top of there. And this hood can't be removed, it's actually affixed there. But what you can do is swap it out for her regular head, depending on which one you prefer. I kind of like the helmeted head, to be honest, or the hooded head. But you have the option to mix it out with the unhelmeted. And what you can do is just take her head, pop it off. You can also take off her cloak, which will just feed off of her arms there. And while you're at it, also take off the cape. Go ahead and then pop the head back on, at least the one without the hood, and you've got a straight Gamora without, the cloak. You guys can certainly let me know down below what your preferred look is for Gamora. Really outstanding paint. Outstanding paint. The color of Gamora is more like an olive green. And she's got what is borderline a metallic green. It's got just a little bit of almost a metallic glitterness to it in the thigh-high boots that she's wearing, as well as the gloves. And she's got this fantastic gold trim that accents the top of her boots and accents the top of her gloves. Not to mention, of course, the mesh outfit that she's wearing on the front, also accented with the gold on the sides there. Here's what the back of the figure will look like. She's utilizing a standard female, I guess a newer standard female Marvel Legends body, I should say. The sword can be a little tricky again, as you saw at the beginning of the video here. It can be a little tricky because she has really small hands, or at least really one small hand. And as you can see, you can get her to hold the sword. Love the figure. Kind of feel like I like it a little bit more with the cape and the... Let's bring it in once again. I don't know, I just think the face with the hood, I think, is a better looking face. Maybe it's just because her mouth is open. It just looks like it's got more personality. It also kind of reminds me of Lady Death back in the day. But there's the difference between the two heads there. In the way of her articulation, we'll just take the sword out of her hand here. As mentioned, because it is utilizing a standard female's Marvel Legends body, her head is on a ball joint. Shoulders are also on a ball hinge joint. They hinge outward very stiffly. Swivel at the bicep, single bend and rotation in the forearm, rotation in the wrists. She has an upper torso ball joint, which allows you to move and pivot the figure torso. No swivel point in the belt area, waist area, but let me point out the belt. I would love to own a belt and wear a belt that looks like this with the skull, that golden skull. Very nice. It also matches perfectly to the gold on the gloves and the boots. And then as for the legs are ball joints as opposed to that swivel hinge I'm not crazy about. A nice ball joint allows lots of movement in the legs, swivel at the thigh, double bend at the knee, and finally a hinge in the foot. I feel like a lot of these are essentially retools of existing figures. The Rocket Raccoon, I feel, is just an upscaled version of the Marvel Universe. Rocket Raccoon, Marvel Infinite Series Rocket Raccoon. There was also a Build-A-Figure Rocket Raccoon. I think could be a slight variation to that. Drax, I felt, and Star-Lord, I felt like they were upscaled versions of their Marvel Infinite Series 3 3/4 inch scale, but there are differences enough to them that they don't quite fit that upscaled argument that they are just larger versions of the smaller figures. Gamora I like. The coloring is nice. It really just... She's different than all the others in her coloring. Everyone kind of, even like Drax, seems like a very vibrant green. Star-Lord, again, is a vibrant blue. And again, Rocket Raccoon. Gamora stands out, but also still blends in, if that makes any sense. I really like the coloring of her. That gold, just fantastic on that gold paint. So there you have Gamora. I'm just going to maybe get her to... She probably won't stand. I'll just maybe put her down. Next thing, let's have a look at... You know what? Let's have a look at Rocket. Anxious to have a look at Rocket. Just fantastic looking figure, and I feel like this figure again has been used before. He just is... I feel like he's given a little more of a vibrant paint treatment, especially in his face. His face is very bright in the white areas there, and the red in his eyes really pop. You can see he has a ball joint, but he doesn't have interchangeable parts like Gamora had. He does also have a ball jointed tail. He's a little more limited in articulation as it goes with Rocket. He still has hinges in the arms though, surprisingly. Full rotation in the arms. Elbows bend, rotation in the arms, rotation in the hands, waist swivel, and finally ball joint. Like this section right here is basically just all staction. There's no movement into the feet or anything like that. But he does have a ball joint tail. I utilize the ball joint tail. I kind of tip it down. It seems to let him stand a lot better. Considering as well that his feet are arched, if he's in a lunging position, the tail definitely helps to keep him to stand up. He does come a couple of accessories. I mean, really, the Guardians as a whole come with a whole slew of different accessories. It's really depending on how you want to have them displayed. Let's say, for example, well, I want to really keep these for like Star-Lord, more of a Star-Lord kind of weapon, but Rocket's got, or any number of them, have these big silver. The paint on here is really cool. It's this kind of gunmetal silver gray. It comes with one of those, a nice big gun. And let's just put Rocket down. Also comes with this weapon too. This very, very much like a cable kind of gun. And there's those two, and then Rocket's, or I guess more suited for Rocket, a smaller gun with like literally a rocket on the top. So why don't we go ahead, we'll take the smallest of the gun, because that fits very easily into his hand. But if you want to, I can't see Rocket really turning away the idea of extra firepower. It's a little harder to get it into his hand because it takes up more space, I feel like. But there you go. You can get Rocket dueling both guns. Paint is nice. I want to... Got a soft spot for Rocket. I almost feel like he could be my favorite from this set. Just a lot going on, especially that little sneer that he's got on his face. It's just like, turn the head. He's like, just bring it. I'm going to stay over here, thanks. So there's Rocket Raccoon. Love this piece. Loved him in the Marvel Infinite Series wave, the smaller scale figure. And, of course, the build figure of Rocket Raccoon was awesome as well. Moving along to, let's have a look at Drax. And at first glance, I felt like Drax was just going to be a scaled-up version of the Infinite Series Drax, but no, there are differences to him. They've tooled a lot of extra things. His legs are different for starters. That same coloring as the guns are also featured in his boots and in his gloves, also in the belt area. Not skimped at all. Really, essentially on tats, his tattoos. He's got some on his arms, up on his shoulders. Nothing really around this area. He doesn't get more complicated tattoos until like his movie counterpart. He does come with his own slew of weapons. Just put Raccoon back up here. He does come with a slew of weapons. He comes with larger kind of hunting bladed knives. Or if you prefer something a little sleeker, he also comes with these. Now these, which I think are just repaints from the movie release of Drax, the Marvel Legends version of Drax, these could be housed in side leg sheaths, little on the sides of his boots, which I may or may not have mentioned actually when I did the review of the first Marvel Legends Drax from the movie. So that frees up at least one of his hands to accommodate the other knife. Now, he has the same thing as Gamora. He has that, you could have him holding knives, but really only one hand. One hand allows him to hold a weapon. It's a shame, but you know, you can certainly, you only have the one hand. The other hand kind of is in this claw formation. Now, you could take, say, for example, was the Tesseract here. You could put that hand if you want to give him something to hold on to. I don't know if I would say Drax would be holding something like that, but you can give him that option. He does also come with an extra pair of hands. Now, the hands that are supplied are smaller, and I thought initially that they came for Gamora, but the green matches the green of Drax. So you could take the hands off, and you could slide the gauntlets completely off. Take them right off. You don't even need them. And you can give them just regular hands. And in this way, you take off both this hand, and we slide the gauntlet off. Switch these out, and instantly, you know, you've got hands for holding both knives. I feel as if I kind of dig the metallic arms, metallic hands a little bit more than just the regular green-skinned hands, but it gives you options. And one thing I like about Hasbro, when they give us Marvel Legends and they go all out with the Legends and they give the extra accessory, it gives you some mixing and matching possibilities. You can give him a knife, you can give him also a gun. I might be almost inclined to maybe give him just a gun. I feel like Drax just deserves like a big old gun. Like, give him knives, sure, yeah, you can do that. But to also give him a big old handgun. I say handgun, that's beyond the stretch of just a handgun. For your articulation on Drax, his head is on the that ball joint as well, ball hinge joint on the head. Upper torso crunch, swivel in the calf, in the waist area. Hinged arms, rotate all the way around. Swiveled bicep, double bend elbows, hinged hands, ball joint legs, swiveled thighs, double bend knees, and hinged feet. And there you got Drax. Get him to hopefully stand. Display stands. Sometimes I love you guys. Wish you had display stands. And finally, well, I shouldn't say finally because we keep the big guy for the end. We've got Star-Lord. leader of the ragtag bunch of space misfits. Love the color of him. His color obviously matches that of Rocket. And I love the trim. The trim pops on both Rocket Raccoon, but pops a lot here on Star-Lord. He doesn't have the interchangeable head, so the one head that you see is the one head that he has to wear with the domed faceplate there. I love the boots that they've got on him, the brown strapped boots. Strap boot covers, and he's got his brown belt that matches the boots. Very nice touch. Very clean paint. Red can sometimes be problematic on figures, but red on Star-Lord here seems to be pretty clean consistently all the way around. Also like the color of blue that they went with too. For your consideration, Star-Lord can get his 2 dueling blasters, depending on how you want him displayed. Star-Lord, I'm more thinking of dual blasting, like double firearms in hands. Guns a-blazing, that's how I kind of envision Star-Lord. I kind of wish that the guns were a little more painted. They've just gone with... The coloring almost just doesn't... It stands out, really. Like if you compare it to Rocket's gun, or really, for that matter, either one of the guns I've got them holding. I like the gunmetal. I just kind of wish Star-Lord's guns were maybe that same color instead of this. This is almost borderline blue. It's almost like a blue-gray silver. It's really weird. But just take these out of his hands. Star-Lord's articulation is on par with Drax. It's really about the same, just obviously sculpted a little bit differently. Ball hinge joints in the head. Lots of movement going on there. Upper torso crunch, swiveled waist, ball hinge joint arms, swiveled biceps, double bend elbows, hinged hands like we've already had a look at. Swiveled waist, like I said, the ball joint legs, swiveled thigh, double bend knee, hinged feet. There you have Star-Lord. Who? Right, that's the movie version. So there you have Star-Lord. That's pretty much all of them in a nutshell, except for one. We'll just put these guys all to the side. And let's have a look at Groot. I'm going to have to bring the camera up for a little bit on this one. Groot utilizes 85%. I'm just kind of pulling out a percentage here. 85, let's say 85, 90% of the initial Build-A-Figure Groots that came with the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy wave. That Groot was a little bit, I think, lighter in color. This Groot appears a little bit more darker of a brown. But essentially, from feet to neck, it's pretty much the exact same figure. I wish I had the other one I could do a comparison next to, but it's utilizing essentially the same figure. Where the difference, though, is in that head. The other one had a more approachable, kind-hearted Groot look to it. Like you could come up to him and he would, you know, let you climb up him. Maybe build a swing on his arm. You can just play and have a good old time. I don't feel like that's the case here with this Groot. Comic book themed Groot, a little more, I don't want to say scary, but a little more or less like someone you're going to come around and just start having fun and playing with. He's a little more monster-esque. Love the vines, the extensions of his head extending out from... It kind of looks like a rooted stump. Sculpt is quite nice. And even though, again, they've really only retooled the head, that retooled head is quite nice. And we'll spin around the back so you guys can see all the way it's sculpted there. Nice touch. Though this is a new sculpt, it still melds well with movie body Groot. The brown also being one color also helps too. I say it's one color. There are technically other colors in there as well. There seems to be like kind of gray browns in the little crevice points to bring out the details in Groot. I would almost be inclined to put almost maybe a secondary wash in there, bring out even more of those details. His accessory though, and I guess to that matter, the accessory that could technically come with Rocket Raccoon is also a little baby Groot, which I think is also the same baby Groot that came with Rocket Raccoon, the Infinite Series Rocket. Just a little bit more scaled up. Same color as Groot. He's got yellow eyes, a little scary going on in the face of baby Groot there. This is what he looks like here, and this is what he grows up to. Groot's articulation is that he has the ball hinge joint, same as the others in the head. No restrictions at all moving the head whatsoever. Ball hinge joint arms, rotate all the way around. Hinged elbows, only a double end elbow, but it only swivels at the top where the shoulder area is. Swivel points and hinge points also in the hand. Upper torso ball joints. No swivel point in the waist though. And ball joints in the legs. A single hinge knee, which also allows the leg to rotate ever so slightly, and also a hinge in the foot. Ball joints are peg points on the undersides of his feet, though again, no display stands. So there you have the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Entertainment Earth exclusive, and there's Gamora. Can't unfortunately get her to stand. It'd be nice if I could finish up this review getting her to properly stand. Maybe not. Nope, not quite. Of course, Spot picked this up from the folks over at Entertainment Earth, being again that this is an Entertainment Earth exclusive. If you guys are interested in picking this set up for yourself, and the set's going to be quite popular, it's probably going to be flying off the proverbial shelf, as it were. Click the link down below. You can head over to Entertainment Earth and pick up this box set before it is gone. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series, Guardians of the Galaxy comic series, Entertainment Earth box set. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.